friend of mine sent me an article over at Vice about a guy in Austin, Texas, and it's not the people that are doing what Community First Village. This is a guy that started a campground, and I guess it was a campground. And when did this come out? This article, yeah, April 14th. It was just yesterday. Today's April 15th. The title is Texas Banned Homeless Encampment. So a guy made one on his own property. His name is Josiah Ingalls. And I was going to do an article comparing and contrasting, but I kind of rushed for time, and so I thought I would just do a video comparing our camp with, I think he calls it Camp Hope. Is that what he calls it? Camp Hope. So I've taken some notes here, and I thought I would just kind of go through what jumped out at me and compare it to what we are, what we're doing here. So let me make this font a little bit bigger. Okay. So so these are I'll obviously link to this article, but it says, if it weren't for that, we would be out there, another resident began. So what they're talking about, if it wasn't for this camp, they'd be out on the street. And this is something that I hear a lot. I mean, there's nowhere else for these people to go. And the counterpoint that people bring up oftentimes is, well, we have shelters. We have shelters. And we do have shelters. In Akron, we have one men's shelter. It's a haven of rest. It's a completely private, extremely Christian shelter, homeless shelter. You have to go to church before breakfast, before dinner, and before bed, and before getting clothes. A friend of mine was permanently banned from the Haven of Rest because he worked in their kitchen, and he was taking food from the kitchen that they were going to throw away and was giving it out the back door to other homeless people. And that was completely against the program, because you got to come in and follow their rules if you want food. And he was permanently banned for doing it. And so my point of that, not to belittle them, it's their place, it's private money, they can do whatever they want, and I'm really thankful they're here in our town because we don't have anything else. My point is that it's not always available for people. Now that it's summer, also, you can only live there 4 days a week. I'm sorry, 4 days a month if you're not in their work program. And their work program requires you to give them 80% of your money. All right? And they hold it for you, and then when you get to $2,500, they give it to you, and then you got to get out and get an apartment. And the problem with that, it seems good on the face, right? But the problem with that is that people have phone bills, they have storage units, they have bills. And so sometimes they can't afford to give the Haven of Rest the 80%. So they can't be in the program. So if you're not in the program, then you're out on the street after 4 days a month. Now in the winter, they open it up full time, but in the summer you only get 4 days. So my whole point, not to belittle them. Look, I do crazy stuff too. Okay? The point is, there's not always shelter, particularly for men. There's a battered women's shelter. There's a couple places for women in Akron, but oftentimes, particularly in the winter, they are full. There's a waiting list. Okay? So my whole point is, we don't have a completely, non-porous bottom that people can't fall through. Do you know what I'm saying? So when this guy, this resident said this, if it weren't for that, we would be out there, which is on the street. See? hiding from the law, is what this guy said. And that's ultimately it. Now, not only are you out on the street where you're highly vulnerable from predators and other thieves and people that hate homeless people, the police are coming for you too, to find you and take your stuff and throw you out of wherever you are. So it becomes this really terrifying, uncertain existence. So then they say Ingalls is perhaps the boldest and most literal embodiment of the yes in my backyard philosophy. I'd never heard of that. I'd never heard of the yes in my backyard philosophy. I like it. I like it. He has about He has about 19 people in his on his land. I like that. So this guy is, like, I think in many ways ahead of me. Apart from the essentials, Ingalls property offers a sense of community. There's a shed where residents can borrow books or games, and a tent filled with clothing donations and bedding. I don't have any books or games, but I do have a house that has a shower. And I'm sorry that I say I apologize. That's not right. We. Obviously, I can't do this on my own. It's you guys, really, that are making this happen. We have a shower, a toilet, running hot and cold water, obviously, internet, phone, heat. So I would get books. I mean, I could get books, but I've never really had anybody ask for books. What they ask for normally are coloring books and colored pencils and crayons and stuff. That's one of the things that a lot of people that I know enjoy. It really helps relax them. This is really good. Ingalls has also worked to arrange mental and general health care services since his property is so outside of town. Mine is not. God damn it. Ours is not. Ours is not. It's right in town. But I would still like mental health service people and general health care people to come, but they won't come. They won't come. They're too afraid. They're too afraid. There is I know of no legit, like traditional service provider that has ever publicly said that they condone what we do. Nobody. The only people that I've never heard them say it publicly, but police will say, I'm working with a police officer in particular right now, and he says, look, Sage, I have 8 contacts at your place right now. And he's like, I know where they live. Parole officers know where their people are. Anyways, okay. What's next? Ingalls also worked. Oh, yeah, sorry. There's an application process, plenty of rules, no sex offenders, no drugs, no wandering on a neighborhood's property. Residents are supposed to chip in and wash dishes, take care of the camp. We used to have an application process. We do not anymore. Those are not my rules. Those are not what my rules are. Right now, our rules are number one rule. No stealing from residents and no stealing from neighbors. You will get your ass thrown out of my place, our place. Who cares what I call it? Look, I can't do this without you is what I'm getting at, okay? I need you. It's our place. I'm nothing without you. And I know that. You steal from a resident or a neighbor and you are out. Look, the beauty of a tent, I can cut the top of your tent right off. I've done it. And if you don't leave, I will do it. I've done it and I will do it again. Okay? Do not steal. It's number 7 on God's top 10 list. Thou shalt not steal. Do not steal. Basically, do not steal from poor people. Okay? Do not steal from poor people. What you do after that, not my business. No sex offenders is not on my list. No drugs is not on my list. No wandering into neighbors' property. I mean, we're kind of fenced in. That's pretty hard to do. I don't think that's even possible, technically. Okay. So and it's fine. And I get why he doesn't want drugs. Totally get it. My belief is this. Drugs are not a crime. They're an illness. Akron is the home of AA. We should know this. We are powerless, is what they say in AA. That's what they say in AA. I think that's a little extreme, but I think what they're saying is that it's not our choice. We didn't make this choice, and in fact, we desperately want to get out of these situations at times, but we can't, and that's what they're getting at. It is a disease of the mind. The mind changes when you are addicted to drugs or alcohol. And how dare you people, sip your stupid alcoholic beverages, which is the worst drug I've ever run into, by the way. You will tie your kids and wife to a bed and burn the house down. You will. You know who never does that? Opiate users. You know who never does that? Meth users. Opiate users will sleep all day, and meth users will just rake your lawn until there's no grass left. That's it. That's what they do, and they talk too much. That's annoying. Talking is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I've never once ever, all my friends are on meth, and never once have they physically attacked me. Well, there was that one woman, but I don't think it was the meth. I crossed a line, according to her. I've only ever been hit by one person, and it was a woman. And you know who you are, and I love you. We're good. We're fine. It's not a violent drug. Alcohol is a violent drug. So fuck you and your stupid alcohol. Let's see here. It says, if we fail, then nothing else is going to happen in this part of America for a long, long time. If we succeed, the benefit could be monumental. I do think that's right, that if I quit, this will go away. So I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting. I got nothing else to do. I need a lot of stimulus in my life. So this serves that. Keeps me busy. Then they say, then he's got haters, and they said another person proclaimed the surrounding neighborhood would be better off if Ingalls were to die. Yeah, I certainly have that. They would like to see me dead, some people. Primarily, people fear that Camp Haven would bring drug use, theft, and host big city problems to their quiet country town. See, that's the difference. I'm a little reluctant to go out in the country. People have brought this up, but I'm pretty sure the country people would kill my people. My people, this is where they grew up. They grew up on the east side of Akron. They're all friends and relatives. Okay? That's one of the things I love about it. It wasn't like I brought the drugs and homeless people to my town. I'm just sheltering them where they already were. Silly. Camp Haven could come crashing down with Ingalls' big dream, getting other homeowners to open their land too. I like that. Like, this is his thing, is he wants people to do this on their land. Really good idea. Low-income renters are being squeezed out of the city white-hot housing market. So this is the thing. Austin prices are going way up. I have a single mom with 6 kids. She is paying for, I think, a 4-bedroom house, $1,500 a month on Lover's Lane. If you know Akron, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. $1,500 on Lover's Lane, everybody. But the so-called madness isn't limited to Texas. California and New Hampshire have also banned homeless camps statewide, and so this for our legislators in other states. So they're banning these camps. They're making it harder. So the crazy part of this is that it's getting harder and harder to find places to rent, and they're squeezing people that have no place to live. And I'm sure we'll see those kinds of laws in Ohio too. we're also hating black people and gay people in our House bills right now. So it's just a matter of time. Let's see. It says all of that back and forth can put homeless people in a difficult spot. If they have no money to move and no available shelter bed to sleep in, they can either rest in public or risk citation, or in a rare case, find someone like Ingalls. It's a calculus that they're sick of having to consider. We're already living a life of hell, and now they want to make it illegal to live our life of hell. I love it. Please come live out here with me for a week, just 1 week. I dare you. Just one night should traumatize the shit out of you. It does for me. I last 2 Christmas Eves I camp out, and it's terrifying. It's only the only safe place for me while I'm trying to get my housing, says Hal. The decor of the camp makes them feel welcome. A sign at the entrance to the property announces the land as a homeless sanctuary, while custom-ordered international criminal court flying nearby. It's believed the state legislature have committed crimes against humanity. I believe that, too, for prosecuting the poor. Everyone that believes this country has grown too big for its britches should fly it. Now, Hal isn't in any position to cause any trouble. She has congestive heart failure, so this woman that lives there, she doesn't use drugs. Others on the property also no longer feel the need to use, despite previously being dependent on substances. So here's the thing. When you take away the fear and trauma and concern of worry of not knowing where to live, you don't need as many drugs, or you can start to think about quitting drugs. You can't possibly quit drugs while you're on the street. It's impossible. It's impossible. This should be more widespread, Martin said. If more people did this, there'd be less homeless. Because of this is a stepping stone, it really is. It gives people time to build and to move up. So even before Texas Governor Abbott signed the camping ban into law last year, Ingalls knew it was time to open his property to homeless people and shut down the paid camping business that already existed on the land. There was a campground there, which is clever. He wouldn't be the first. And then they link to me. People in Ohio and Utah have done this. This is my New York Times article here. Have also allowed the camping on their land, but building that kind of community hasn't always gone well. A couple from Carolina received violation notice from the city after letting. Yeah, so have I. Yeah. Who gives a crap? Look. There are people that need shelter. There is no law of any import, morally, religiously, spiritually, philosophically, it's more obvious than take care of people that need shelter, God damn it! Jesus Christ. They think I'm the crazy one. They have lost their damn minds. They think I'm the crazy one for sheltering people that need shelter. I take care of their trash. I've got electricity for them. I've got showers. Yeah. Look, man, you know what we don't have in this country? Mental health facilities. You know what they got? Me. Okay? Do you know how hard it is? I got a woman right now that just talks constantly to herself and swears and yells and says racist stuff. And I got to calm that shit down because I've been trying to build some social justice in my camp by bringing more black people in. And I'm like, hey, man, we all know this woman has serious mental health issues. It's nothing personal. She's just out of her mind. And they're like, I know, Sage. It's just sometimes hard to hear. I'm like, okay, just walk away. Just don't. It's not personal, okay? So I'm dealing with that kind of crap, okay? You know why? Because there's nowhere else for her to go. Shouldn't be up to this guy. This is group, the National Homeless Law Center, says this. It should not be up to individuals to stand up and help protect the rights of people experiencing homelessness against these threats of arrest just for trying to survive on the streets. That should be the duty of the state itself to make sure everybody has. I don't agree with that. Eric Tarr is the legal director of the Nationalist Homeless. I don't agree at all with that, Eric. Look, we're all culpable of this, Eric. It's all shit rolls downhill. We outsourced our jobs and product making to Mexico and China, so we get dirt cheap products. So I can buy a new iPhone every year, every 6 months, whatever I want. Housing costs go up because the rich get richer. People don't have good jobs. They can't live anywhere. I believe, if anything, it's definitely on me. And also, I do think this is controversial. If you don't want to pay for homeless people to take care of them, you shouldn't pay. You shouldn't pay. I'm tired of liberals outsourcing everything to the government. The government is a terrible organization. Okay? Terrible. They're bureaucrats. They don't know how to innovate. They're slow moving. They don't know how to, they waste money worse than anybody I've ever seen. Terrible. It should be up to individuals to stand up for them. All right. But then Eric goes on to say, but the absence of that, we're going to see more people taking this kind of direct action. Fuck yeah, Eric. Yeah, we are. Yes, in my backyard. For one, the facility started out with no policies or procedures. That's very common. Created one by one. He's clashed with other local advocates for not allowing drug use on his property. So, yeah, I see that's a thing. Since that sort of blanket ban can be considered discriminatory, if there's any drama on the land, Ingalls also inserts himself into it, meaning he's always on the clock. I'm not always on the clock. I'm empowering people to build their own community, but I do step in. They were afraid of drugs and violence and people breaking into homes. I just knew that was wrong, Hofstadter said of her neighbors. The moment I walked here, I came in, I believed in what Josiah was doing. So that was a neighbor that hated it, and now they love it. I don't feel that outlawing drug users is discriminatory for this guy. I think when you have drug users, it's a whole nother level of drama. I like to shelter, when I can, sex offenders, drug users, anybody that is legally allowed to be in society, okay, that has nowhere to live. And I like to start at the bottom. I always like to start at the bottom. It's just more interesting to me, and I feel they're the most in need. So, look, if you're a sex offender and you're allowed to live in society, we have to have a place for you. We do. We do. Now, conversely, any sex offender that I ever shelter, we talk about it very openly. And if any of the women in my camp ever feel uncomfortable, I lean towards protecting the women. Safety first, basically, everybody in my camp. Safety first. Safety first. I don't believe in the war on drugs. I think that it's, did you hear it once? I'll say it again. Drug use, like alcoholism, that you fucking hypocrites approve of. God, that makes me mad. Makes me really mad. Because alcohol is the most dangerous drug. Alcoholics are dangerous, dangerous people. They are. Meth users aren't. They're not. Opiate users are only dangerous to themselves. And it's funny, I'll tell you a story. The meth users hate the opiate users. The injection opiate users are the most hated people in our city. They hate them. You hate them. Meth users hate them. Alcoholics hate every other drug user. They are the most hoity-toity assholes on earth. They really believe their shit doesn't stink because they are addicted to alcohol. But for me, I love a good opiate user that hasn't overdosed. They just sit in a corner and sleep all day. They cause no trouble. They just sit over there. I make sure I wiggle them every once in a while. I'm like, hey, man, you still good? Oh, yeah, man, I'm good. I'm like, okay, you good? I'm good. They're my favorite. These frickin' meth users. Right now, I tell you what I got going right now. I got meth users that are convinced they got spiders in their tent. Convinced. And it's a big thing. They're calling me in the middle of the night. Hey, so-and-so's got spiders in their tent. We got to get the spider. And you can't tell them otherwise. You can't say, you can't win it. You can't win the argument, so don't even bother. But I've tried, so I'll tell you how it goes. Show me the spiders. Well, Sage, they're not here right now. If they come out, sometimes they go away and they come out. They're not here right now. I'm like, take a picture of those spiders. All right, I will. Never seen a picture. Never seen a picture. And I don't really care, except they get me involved in that shit. And then I have to go on some sort of fictitious hallucinogenic spider hunt. It's annoying. It's annoying. Alcoholics are usually the first ones I kick out. I had to kick out an alcoholic. It's just dangerous and so annoying. Like dangerous and annoying. They're the worst. You drinkers are the worst. Take it from a former drinker, I know. All right. Well done with this guy. Do not shelter homeless people in your house. But I do love the idea of you putting a tent in your house or in your backyard, especially if you have a nice, like, enclosed backyard where they can be private. One tent. And if you have one tent, there's going to be more people. But if you're like, no, they'll go away. They will. They will. Homeless people are one of the most passive people you'll ever meet. I swear to God they are. I swear to God they are. They've been beaten down so much. You could just be like, hey, man, no, you can't. I told a guy that he needed to move his tent. He was mad at me. Do you know what he did? He moved his tent. Anyways, we do need more of this. We could solve homelessness if people would put one person in their backyard in a tent. Problem solved. Good job, dude. Don't give up. Oh, and may I say, if you read this, if you watch this video, don't let the neighbors or the law convince you that the reason they're shutting you down is because of theft or drug use or whatever bullshit they come up with. It's just bullshit lies to get you out. They don't give a shit. You could be sheltering old ladies that just sit in a rocking chair in their tent all day, and they would come up for a reason why those old ladies are a danger to society and they need to get off your land. It's a lie. They don't like these people. They don't like you for helping them. They want them to die. It's the Trail of Tears all over again. They want them out on the street, just like we did to the Native Americans. We drug them across the land the long way to kill them on the path. It was genocide, and this is that. There you go. All right. Keep up the good work.